Hi guys, hello from Florida. Back from Florida, back from the AmSECT conference. It was so nice. It was my first time in Florida and it was so warm there. It was like every time we went outside, because it was so warm and humid, it was like getting a big hug. A huge shout out to Mel for letting me crash with her at her place. So I'm just like hanging my laundry in the background. Don't look at it. Still catching up on laundry. Let me just take that out of the picture. Yeah, huge shout out to Mel for letting me crash with her, because I wouldn't have been able to afford to go to the conference and like stay in Orlando for the whole weekend and pay for the flight and everything if it wasn't for her. So thank you, Mel. And it was just like really nice, like having some girl time and talking to her and getting to know her better. Yeah, I think that was like worth it in itself for sure. But also it was really cool like talking to other perfusionists from all over the States and some other ones from Canada too. Yeah, it's just cool to hear that they're like they deal with the same kind of things, like obviously equipment shortage and like disposables shortage, and just and how they handle certain situations, and sites that do different things than us and different policies and different like case studies. It was all really cool actually. And like checking out the new equipment like in the exhibitor hall, like the new heart-lung machines it was really cool. So I'm very thankful for that trip, but I am now back and ready to get ready to start my last rotation and finish up this clinical year and then start working. It's all happening so fast. But yeah, I'm just gonna go to a coffee shop and do some reading. What am I looking for? I just need to catch up on some reading. I'm just gonna put more of this on because I can't find my actual lip thing. Fill it all in. I go to my children's site in like after I've been at my adult site for 3 weeks. Yeah, I just have to do some reading for that because I haven't really looked at pediatric stuff in a long time. So yeah, gonna go do that and have to obviously finish doing laundry and unpacking and everything from this trip. But yeah, hope you guys have a great day. Shop. I'm still cold, so that's why I'm still wearing my jacket, but I just want to get some cleaning done before I sit down and have breakfast. But I am feeling very overwhelmed today. I'm just very overwhelmed about like the future, and like I start my next clinical rotation on Monday, but I just know it's gonna be a ton of work, obviously, which is good and it's what I want, but I know it's gonna be a lot. And I think just doing all of that and having to also figure out like moving to the States and just like studying for my final and also trying to maintain a life of some sort, like going to the gym and maybe seeing friends and slash my sister, and like also picking up shifts because I feel guilty for not working and having an income. I'm sure other people feel this way too, but I'm in that cycle of I feel guilty for doing one thing while I'm not doing another. Like I will be studying and I feel guilty for not doing, like not working. But when I'm working, I feel guilty that I'm not studying. And when I'm at the gym, I feel guilty that I'm not studying. And just like, I'm trying to focus on one task, but I feel guilty for not doing a different one. Yeah, I also have to look at finding a place. And when I apply for places, do I need a social security number? Because I don't have one yet. And I won't until I get my visa. So anyways, I'm spiraling, but I'm gonna eat because I feel like that'll make me feel better. And today, what am I doing? Yeah, so I went to the gym, coffee shop, gonna do some more meal prep, gonna clean a bit, laundry, vacuum. I'm definitely that person that thrives in like a clean environment. Not that my place is messy, I just need to like vacuum basically and do laundry. But when it's like messy or things have been sitting for a while, like my laundry, I don't like it. So I'm gonna do that. And I think I'm going to, yeah, sit down later and just like plan out the next 14 weeks. Like plan out, like I have like a study plan, have like a moving plan, maybe not a moving plan, but like a general, like I'm gonna spend 4 hours every Saturday, like planning out my move in terms of like that, what I just talked about, but also like getting rid of my couch and selling my old clothes that I never wear, so that I feel like I have a plan of attack. And yeah. I wore this shirt in Florida, this white tee, when I had tan on, obviously, and I was super sweaty. And this is what it looks like. I wonder if you can see. But it's like stained. This is the back. Like this is the armpit. This is the tag, the back, like the whatever. Like the front for some reason. Yeah, I think the armpit is like the worst. Like that armpit. And the other armpit, if you can see. Yeah, this is the reality of me and white clothes. So let's see if that comes out. Oh, you know what those spots are on the front? They're like my under boob, which I don't really have boobs, so that's interesting. But I have shout. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So, okay guys, I just did my meal prep for the upcoming week. I'm back in the OR starting tomorrow. And I actually just realized it's a short week, which is kind of nice, because Friday is Good Friday. But so I just did basically 4 days of meal prep. I thought I'd share. So I have my eggs. I have like, I don't even know, like 250 grams of egg whites, 1 egg, avocado, arugula, and feta, and then like salt and pepper on top. I have my breakfasts are like the most extravagant. I don't know, because then it just like fills me up for the day. I'm not as hungry throughout the day. I like to have like a bigger, heartier breakfast. And then I have my marinated like lemongrass chicken that I've talked about before. And I put that on this bowl that I'm going to eat right now. And I was going to pack this up to bring to the hospital, but it's just so many components, and it just, I don't know if it travels or like sits well in my fridge. Like I feel like I'll pack it in a, if I pack it in a Tupperware, the flavors will all just like meld together, especially with like the beet hummus and the sauerkraut and stuff. So I'm gonna have that separate in my fridge and just like put it together when I get home. And then I have smashed roasted potatoes and ground chicken that I put together in these bowls. And then fat-free Greek yogurt, lactose-free. Yeah, so 0% plain lactose-free Greek yogurt. And then I tried to make mush, which is like an overnight oat thing sold in America. And I tried to make like their chocolate one. I did have one today and it actually did taste pretty good. I need to put more sweetener in it though, because I like bitter / like dark chocolate, but this is like super bitter, so I might just add some more coconut sugar or something on top. And then lastly, I have these protein, they're like, I don't know if I've talked about these before. I'm sure I have somewhere, but they're basically like tortillas. I think they're advertised as like a flatbread. But they're called like protein up, carb down, or I don't know. They used to be called protein up, carb down, but basically they're high protein, low carb tortillas. You can use them for wraps, or like I've used them to make like pizza or like quesadilla, or I've also like cut them just into triangles and baked them and made them into like chips. But I honestly just eat it with vegan butter. I use this like Earth's Own, let's go to the English side, vegan butter. And I don't know, this stuff, I've tried a lot of vegan butters, especially because this one was like sold out for a month, so I had to try different ones, but this one just tastes the best. I don't know why, and it has like the best macros as well. But yeah, I just buy this at like Save On Foods or Whole Foods, or what's that other one that that Save On Foods owns, Urban Fare. Yeah, it just tastes so good. So I literally just have, it's like bread and butter, but like vegan, higher protein, low carb, low fat. And I don't know, but I don't know, I really like it. It tastes good. It's one of my favorite snacks. And yeah, that's it. Hey guys, so the hospital that I'm currently at for my clinical placement was nice enough to let me record the heart-lung machine that we use on a daily basis. So I thought I would do a quick intro summary of the heart-lung machine. So this blue and gray machine is the heart-lung machine. Different companies make different heart-lung machines, but most of the sites in BC carry this one. This is the S5. I'll put images of other heart-lung machines, but yeah, this blue and gray one is the most popular one in BC. So all the tubing that gets set up onto the heart-lung machine are the disposables. So it's the clear tubing and that thing with the yellow top on it. This is what the patient's blood actually circulates through, and includes the pump, so acts as the patient's heart, and the oxygenator, which kind of acts like the patient's lungs. Again, different companies make different tubing packs, pumps, and oxygenators. So I'll come closer and I'll go through the tubing kind of quickly. So what I'm touching there is the venous line. So this is what the patient's blood drains back through into the reservoir here with the yellow top on it. The blood collects in this reservoir and then travels down to the pump. So the pump here is that kind of like cone-shaped thing with the writing on the side. So that's a centrifugal pump or a cone. There's different kinds of pumps, but this is the one we use here. And it gets pumped through the oxygenator, so that cylindrical thing with the white fibers in it. That's where gas exchange occurs, and we administer volatile anesthetics through that as well. And then we'll go up through this tubing. Now the tubing that has the red line on it means it's arterial, so that's what goes back to the patient. So that's the main loop, or the main circuit, you could say, of the heart-lung machine. So it drains the patient through the pump, oxygenator, and then back to the patient. But there's a bunch of other lines that branch off the main circuit, or the main loop, and do different things. So we have like recirculation lines, we have lines that go to a manifold so that we can take blood samples and give drugs, and there's lines that go to the cardioplegia system here, lines that come from like the suckers and vents, so the surgeon will have suckers and vents at the table and they come back. So that last video was the heart-lung machine with a dry setup, which means we haven't primed it yet. Probably the most important part of setting up the pump for the day is making it air-free. because we're taking blood from the patient and giving it back right into their circulatory system, it's important for it to not have any air in it. The body does not like air in its vessels. Air is a very easy way to severely harm a patient. Most of the sites I've been to use plasma light. It's a clear, balanced crystalloid solution, which basically means it has similar properties to that of blood. So this heart-lung machine is on, it's set up, it's primed. So a bunch of different interfaces here. This main individual one with a 5.97 on it, that's the flow going through the main circuit to the patient when it's connected to the patient. All these little rollers on the side, they are for suckers and vents, so the surgeon will typically have at least one sucker and a vent to retrieve any blood at the table that isn't coming back from the venous line. These are the screens that we use for monitoring different things on the heart-lung machine. So we have safety devices like a level detector on the reservoir. We have a bubble detector to make sure no bubbles go to the patient. We have timers. We have temperatures. We also have a heater cooler so we can set the temperature. Sometimes the surgery requires that we cool the patient to 18 degrees Celsius. So we are able to do that, and anywhere in between. So how we cool and then warm the patient is through the oxygenator here. So those blue hoses connected to the oxygenator are also connected back to the heater cooler, and that's how we're able to cool the blood and send it back into the patient cooled, and then also of course upon rewarming. So you can see here the pump is on, it's spinning. We have the prime and the reservoir, and it's all just circulating, making sure it's bubble free. Another thing we monitor, deliver, set is the cardioplegia. So cardioplegia is a drug that we deliver to the heart, so through the coronary arteries, goes through the vessels of the heart, and it's an arresting agent, so it stops the heart. Cardi meaning heart, and plegia meaning paralysis, so cardioplegia is heart paralysis. In most cases, the heart is stopped so that the surgeon has a still heart to perform heart surgery on, because doing heart surgery on a beating heart can be quite technically difficult, you can imagine. Not all surgeries require the heart to be stopped, but it is common practice in most surgeries for the heart to be stopped. And so we deliver and monitor the drug that does that. So yeah, that's the heart-lung machine. It's what we use during cardiac surgery. I hope this kind of gives you an idea of what the perfusionist does. Let me know if you have any questions. Today is Good Friday, which means that I just finished my first week at my last adult clinical site, and it's been really good. Actually, I feel like this site is going to be really good, and I'm really loving the team there and everything. So I'm in a good mood, except that I was so exhausted this morning. I got up early, I think like 4 a.m. and I woke up at 3. Like my alarm was set before, but I woke up at 3, and I went to the gym, and then I went to a coffee shop to do some notes and reading, but my brain was just on fire. Like I couldn't focus. So I came home and had a nap. Let me close this window. Anyways, came home, I had a nap, an hour. My floor is super squeaky too. It's just like a loud environment. Came home, had a nap for like an hour, and I think I'm just like so mentally and physically drained. Just clinical year. I think people who have done any sort of like clinical placement, or even just like training at a new job, for example, it's just can be so draining, but good. It's just that I need to get better sleep and like make sure I'm eating well and bringing good snacks and stuff, which brings me to my next point. So I just came back from grocery shopping, and I thought I'd share everything I bought, because I actually did buy almost everything. It was kind of just, my fridge and cupboards are like empty, so I'm doing like a full restock, I guess, and I thought I'd share what I got. Okay, so I go to 2 different grocery stores because, I can find different things at different grocery stores. Like one of them doesn't sell the same thing that another one does, so I can there's certain things I can only find at one of them. And also because I've been shopping at both of them for so long, if there is something that both of them sell, like for example eggs, like I know which one has the lower price for eggs, so I'm like one of those shoppers. So yeah, I've been meal prepping for like over a decade. Like I always prep all my meals for work and school and everything, and even just like when I'm at home, I'm not one to routinely like have just stuff in the fridge and like whip up a dinner for that night. Like I guess because I mostly lived, I wouldn't say I've lived alone, but mostly I've just been like cooking for myself forever, so I just prep everything because I find it's easier and cheaper. But I go through phases of like making really fun and exciting meal preps and like making really plain ones. So my really plain one is what I've been doing for the last little while, which is basically like chicken breast on like veggies and like egg whites and an egg, and that's kind of it. Which is fine. Like I'm actually okay eating all those things, but I think lately I just, like I said, I need to really support my like energy levels and like my brain power being in school and in my like last level of my program. So I've just been feeling really tired lately too. So I'm trying to like prioritize like my macronutrients and micronutrients and just, trying to step it up. It's 2023. Yeah, I will go through what I have. I also bought a lot of snacks, but I will note that when I buy snacks, I'm a huge snacker. But when I buy snacks, I usually only buy them if they're on sale. So yeah, like the chocolate that I buy, well, I always have to have chocolate, but I'll always buy like the chocolate that's on sale. It just makes me feel better about snacking because I don't want to pay like, sometimes I will buy an expensive one. But anyways, let's start. Okay, so first, arugula. I put it under my eggs. Like I'll do arugula, egg whites, and eggs. So I do have eggs, just like one egg a day. I do splurge and I get like the free range organic ones. I don't know, I just started buying organic free range ones a while ago and I just had to go back, even though they are quite expensive. But yeah, egg whites, which they were sold out of, so I have to go back. And then on top of arugula. And I have a bunch of like veggies I bought, so that's where like the micronutrient part comes in. I've been buying a lot of like veggies and fruits to like make into a bowl, and like I've been inspired by these like bowls, really like aesthetic looking bowls I see on Instagram of people in like Hawaii or like California. And I thought that was just such a great way to put a bunch of different veggies together. So I have beets, which I actually love beets. They're just so annoying to prepare, so that's why I have these like cooked ones ready to eat, peeled and everything. So I don't know if you've ever tried to make beets before, but it's so tedious and messy. And these are only like, I think they're only like $3.69. So this is worth it for me. And you get like 250 grams. I don't know. It lasts me like the whole week. So I also have like cucumber for that, and let's see, asparagus. I love asparagus, and squash, avocado. I bought kiwi, which I love, my berries, which I love, and what else for that? My sprouts. These just take me back to like elementary school. I don't know, I think when like, I don't know if your parents ever made like sandwiches for like elementary school and they would make like deli meats and put sprouts in them. I just love the sprouts. That's what it reminds me of. And I think that's all I really, oh yeah, so I have hummus too. So I've been putting like hummus and sauerkraut in those bowls too. I think the hummus kind of acts as like a sauce, but I've been buying this, I've been buying this like beet one. They're quinoa based, and yeah, I have, so in these bowls I've been putting those beets. I have like a beet and ginger sauerkraut, and then like this beet and balsamic hummus, and I'm like, hey, that's a lot of beets, and it's delicious, but I'm like, let's branch out a bit here. So I got the same brand of hummus, but in this like greens one. It's like a super greens, and I'm gonna give it a try because I really do like the other one. Like I will eat it out of the tub. And it has like really, it's like lower calorie and carbs because it's like quinoa based, I guess. Because normally it's made from chickpeas, which are much more dense and higher in carbs. But anyways, delicious. Thought I'd try that one. And then I have sauerkraut I also put in there. I don't know if that's weird to put sauerkraut in it. But really these bowls are just what you make of them. And this one's carrots and ginger because this is the one I already have. It's beets and ginger, and this is so good too. So my nails are really gross. Don't look at them. Like just getting like probiotics in with the raw unpasteurized sauerkraut. But I bought a carrots and ginger one, so I'll give that a try. And speaking of carrots, I don't put these in the bowls, but I'm like weirdly obsessed with carrots right now. I just find that they're like such a good snack. I'll just like take one out of the fridge and eat it while I'm studying or reading or whatever. And I don't know, I'm a huge like texture person, like a good like crunch, and that's what the carrots are giving me. My carrot era, I guess. And what else? So I have bread. I don't usually buy bread, but it was on sale and I kind of want to make like an avocado toast or something. I've been craving that. I always have cheese, so I have this like ME cheese I just got from one of the stores. I got my oat milk for my coffees. I have potatoes. I buy those like the baby potatoes, ground chicken, just like salt and potatoes and meat, and that's one of my more boring meals. But it's still good because I use like thyme and stuff, so it's not the plainest meal I've ever prepped. And then I also bought my chicken breast, rice cakes I eat with my protein after a workout. I have chocolate. I always buy chocolate. I always buy these too. They're like a flat bread. I'll just dip one of these or like whatever, like spread some vegan butter on one of these and eat it. And that is like one of my favorite treats I eat in the day, so don't judge. And then what else do I eat? I think that's all. And then last but not least are my vegan ice cream sandwiches. They're 100 calories each. They're coconut based. And again, like this is something I'm only buying when it's on sale, because it is kind of pricier. But they're not that small. They're kind of small. They're kind of mini. I'm obviously not like vegan or like dairy free. Like I have cheese and stuff, but I do try to like minimize my dairy when I can. And I actually really like the flavor of these things. It just like tastes better to me. So it just happens to be lactose free. But yeah, that's basically it. It's definitely a lot, and I'm just one person. All of this, oh my God, but all of this cost $160, which is kind of crazy because, I mean, some of this will last me more than a week, like the dozen eggs and like the bread and stuff, so it'll carry over. But I'm also using some stuff that I had from last week, so I feel like it might even out. Or like, for example, the butter and the chocolate, that'll also carry over. So this is maybe a bit bigger than an average week, but like inflation is for real. It kind of sucks. Like that's a lot of money for groceries. But again, like I'm not eating out like I used to when I had really boring or just plain meal preps. I would be more tempted to eat out at the end of the week because I was just so bored with my meals. So, and then that would cost a lot of money. Like it adds up at the end of the week. I'd just go for like sushi or something, but even one sushi meal is like it can be like 20 to 30 bucks. So I think like last week when I had all of these meals, I didn't eat out at all. So I think it is better just to make everything at home. So I'm satisfied, even though that's like a lot of money. Like food's expensive. So I don't know, but I'm gonna make breakfast now. I'm gonna put this away and then make breakfast. This is the same shirt that I washed last week that had tanning stains all over it. Like it had all the stains here and all on the back. This lighting sucks, but it's like that shout really worked. There's like I think there's a couple spots. There's like a spot right there. I think there might be two. Actually, maybe just the one. So I feel like if I soak it in, oh yeah, there's two. Right on the front. But still, you can barely see it. Yeah, I feel like if I washed it one more time. So actually, I did end up washing this twice. So this is 2 washes with shout each time. I think if I washed it one more time, I could get those 2 little spots out. But honestly, like, that's so good, right? Like, hold on. It's a disaster. Like, the pits, like the armpits. My ex used to call them under pits, which is so funny. But they're, like, totally clean. Yo, I'm not sponsored by Shout, but I will be an ambassador after this. I'm just doing some meal prep right now. So I'm just gonna boil some potatoes. I just use like these baby potatoes. I boil them and then roast them in the oven with like I smash them and put like oil and salt and thyme on them as well. And I also made some ground chicken and then my like marinade for my chicken breast, the same like lemongrass chicken I made in my last video. But I have to like prepare this time, like peel off all the leaves or whatever. And so I thought I would talk about or kind of share my whole like timeline with applying to the States, like why I decided to do that. And yeah, picking time is it picking time? Peeling? Picking? I don't know the phrase when you pick off the leaves. It's so tedious. Usually I just watch like a YouTube video or like anything to pass the time, or I just don't really do it and it doesn't make for good seasoning, but it just takes so long sometimes. Anyways, I thought I'd talk about my whole like application or why I decided to pursue a job in the States and that whole timeline, because I didn't really share it at all along the way. It actually started right when I got accepted to the perfusion program. I reached out to someone I work with and I look up to and has like a lot of like knowledge and experience. And yeah, right when I got into the program, I shared with them that I think I want to work in the States. I felt like I needed to leave Vancouver because like I've lived here my whole life and I know that growth happens when you're put in uncomfortable situations. And I feel like I've just grown as much as I can in Vancouver for the time being. Like at this point in my life, like when I had to move away to a different city for 2 years for RT school, I felt like that really matured me a lot. And I felt like it was time for that to kind of happen again. And like I shared in my last video, I didn't really feel like there was no kind of draw to Eastern Canada or anywhere else in Canada really. I more so wanted to go to the States, and the perfusion, like being a perfusionist would allow me to work in like different hospitals, different sites, really busy big centers that Canada just like doesn't really have. So I was excited to do that. I've only done this much so far. How depressing. Anyways, we'll get there. Yeah, so I decided to reach out to that person. They had a connection that had done a similar like pathway. Like they were a perfusionist here and then moved to the States and is now a perfusionist in the States. So they put me in touch with them, and that person was so helpful, the one in the States, and shared a lot of like tips and basically how it works down there. It was still very confusing to me at the time, but the biggest thing I took away from it was they said that if I should look for sites that I want to work at, and just reached out to them early on and asked to do like a site tour. So I asked to visit the center, like meet the team and see if it's kind of a right fit for me and if I would be a right fit for them too. And so that's what I did basically right before I even started any of the perfusion school. Like I had just gotten into the program basically at this time. I was already reaching out to some places in the States and asking, you know, if they had any time for me to do a site tour. Actually, before I even, like how I decided on the sites I wanted to pursue is I literally Googled like best cardiac centers in North America or in America and looked at like the top 10 or 15. And then from there I looked at, okay, where are these centers in the States? Like there's definitely certain states that I wanted to work in more than others, like New York and California for sure. I was even looking at like Boston, like Massachusetts General, because that was a really good site. Or like I've actually heard from other people that that's a really good site too. Sorry, I'm just like dropping these potatoes. So I found like contact information either through like LinkedIn or their website or whatever. Well, actually I also looked at what kind of surgeries and what kind of like procedures and stuff they do at these sites, because why I Googled like best cardiac centers in America is because I want to work at a site that's really busy and does a lot of things so I can learn as much as I can, and then is also like the best at what they do. So yeah, I reached out to some of those sites and a couple of them got back to me, a couple of them didn't. And I then, when did I even go to, so I went to the States last year. So yeah, some of them got back to me. It took a while. There was some back and forth. Some of them I kept trying to get in touch with, and eventually, whoa, I don't know what just that was. Don't know what that was, but it's an old building. So I just hope no one's breaking in. So yeah, that's why I went to California last summer. A lot of the sites are actually in California. Like there's other ones in New York, like I said, or like Massachusetts, but California is just like a really quick flight. And I was planning to go there during my like last semester of my first year. So I was down in LA and talked to some of the sites down there, and I got to see a couple of them, do the site tours that I wanted to. And when I came back, I kept in touch with some of them, talked to more. And anyways, long story short, by December, I had kind of decided on the one that I really wanted to work at, and they made me an offer and I accepted it. So it was a no-brainer for me, so I took that offer, and yeah, so I got hired in December. And I only shared that I got the job last week, really. It was so early, I didn't know 100%, like either party could have backed out, right? And I knew I wanted to go down there, but things could always change. I didn't want to compromise any like opportunities that might have been available here if something were to happen with that job. But yeah, I stayed quiet for a few months, but yeah, it all happened pretty early on, and it's been like a couple of years in the making. I think I always had it in the back of my head that I wanted to move to California, but I didn't ever think I'd have a job that would allow me to, or like I would have the means to, or anything. So it's crazy how much life can change in just like a couple years. But yeah, this is my progress so far. Here, let me turn on the light. That's my progress. It's like not that much. And look at this chaos. This is so tedious. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna finish picking this, I guess, peeling. I don't know. Still don't know. And doing some meal prep. Potatoes are boiling. That's it for right now. Okay, so the first week is over. First week of my last clinical site. And I'm just gonna do some notes. I have a really bad headache. I think I'm just really tired. I'm just gonna do notes for like an hour and go to sleep literally at like 7 o'clock. And yeah, the countdown begins. I have like, what, 2 + 3 + 6. So 11 weeks left of clinical. And then my exam week, and then I just prepare to move to California. Well, I'm gonna start preparing now, obviously, / I have been preparing. It'd be really nice to get a place like in the middle of May, or sorry, in the middle of June, so that I could start moving stuff down there. No, I can't do that. But it'd still be nice to secure a place to live earlier, just so I have a place to live. But then I'm thinking, should I just get an Airbnb for like the first month, like for July or something, and then move into like a more permanent or like long-term place later when I kind of learn the areas? But then I feel like if I get an Airbnb, I can't move all my stuff down there right away. And I'd have to have it in storage somewhere. Plus I'd have to be moving while I'm trying to figure out my new job and figure out California and study for my board exam. So I kind of just want to move into a place that's like long-term right away. Anyways, let me know what you think. Should I get an Airbnb first, or should I do something more long-term and just like bite the bullet and just get into a place and stay there? Because that's what I'm thinking. I don't really want to get like an Airbnb, overpay for rent for like a month, and then have to move again. But I just have to make sure I find something that I think I'll like for a while. Anyways, that's my spiral that I'm currently on. But yeah, just gonna do notes for a bit. Yeah, I hope you liked this video. I hope the heart-lung machine was kind of interesting. And let me know what else you want to see. Hope you guys have a good week. Thanks. Bye.